post of Deputy Chief Minister. Now, what is the context? The context is D.K. Shivakumar was recently sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. Now, what is this post of Deputy Chief Minister all about? This post is considered as the second most important in the hierarchy in the Council of Ministers after the Chief Minister. And it is considered equivalent in rank to that of Cabinet Minister of that state. He enjoys the same pay and perks as Cabinet Ministers. Now, the first thing that we need to delve into with regard to this very topic is, what is this term Council of Minister and what do I mean by Cabinet? Okay. So, Council of Minister is a bigger body. It consists around 60 to 70 ministers. What are the different types of ministers that we have when it comes to Council of Minister? The first is the Cabinet Ministers, who hold important portfolios. Okay. And they are the ones who attend the cabinet meetings. Then we have Minister of State, who are either given independent charge of a particular ministry or they are attached with cabinet ministers. Okay, so when they are attached with cabinet ministers, either they would be provided with some sort of specified work which would be related to that particular ministry, or they would be provided the responsibility of a particular department which would be pertaining to that particular ministry. Then we have deputy ministers, who are not given any sort of independent charge of any department or ministry. So they basically are attached to cabinet ministers or minister of state. So they have to assist the cabinet ministers and minister of state when it comes to their administrative and parliamentary functions. And when I say cabinet minister, it is a smaller body. It would be consisting around 50 to 20 cabinet minister. What is a cabinet? So cabinet basically consists of your Prime Minister, when I talk about the Union Executive, and the ministers of cabinet rank. When it comes to the Council of Minister, it is a constitutional body because it finds mention under Article 74 and 75 of the Indian Constitution. And it is this Council of Minister which implements all the decisions which are taken by the cabinet ministers. All the ministers who are part of the Council of Minister do not come and attend the cabinet meetings. Keep this thing in mind. It is the cabinet ministers only who are going to attend the cabinet meetings. Even with regard to Minister of State, even if the Minister of State is holding independent charge with regard to a particular ministry, then also he can attend cabinet meetings when he is specially called to attend that particular meeting. Okay. All the decisions are basically taken by the cabinet ministers and they are implemented by the Council of Ministers. When it comes to Council of Ministers, it is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. But it is the cabinet which enforces this collective responsibility. Now, when it comes to the cabinet, its role is nowhere being defined in the Indian Constitution. But its role is basically based on parliamentary conventions. This is regarding cabinet ministers and the Council of Ministers. Now, this post of Deputy Chief Minister has been a regular feature in the Indian politics and may have come as a ripple effect of Vallabhbhai Patel's appointment as Deputy Prime Minister in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru government. If you look at the historical background, Anurag Narayan Sinha, who became the first Deputy Chief Minister in Indian history, he was the Deputy CM of Bihar. Other states also, started to create this position or this post of Deputy CM post 1967. Why does this post started to come into picture post 1967? Because before 1967, Congress was dominant at both the national level as well as at the state level. But after 1967, what we witnessed is coalition governments. Why? Because Congress political party could not, get the absolute majority. What do I mean by absolute majority? Absolute majority means majority of the total membership of that house. Okay. Let's say in Lok Sabha, the total membership is 545. So you would be needing around 273 seats in order to come and form the government. But what we witnessed is after 1967, the Congress was losing its dominance, especially at the state level. Okay, because at this time we witnessed the emergence of regional parties like Telugu Desam Party, Janata Party, etc. And since coalition governments were formed, so this post was created to give, to give certain important portfolios to the leader belonging to the other political party. Okay, in order to form coalition government, to get the support of other political parties. And recently, we are witnessing this post in Bihar as well as in UP. Now, if you look at the constitution, this post is not a constitutional one, okay, unlike the post of chief minister and cabinet ministers, because under Article 163, clause 1, what we find mention is there shall be a council of minister with the chief minister as the head to aid and advise the governor in exercise of his functions. When it comes to Article 164, clause 1, the chief minister will be appointed by the governor and the other ministers would be appointed by the governor on the advice of chief minister and would hold office during the pleasure of the governor. So we do not find mention of this very post in the Indian constitution. What is the role of deputy chief minister? As I told you, this post is given to the parties who are joining hands to form a coalition government. So when it comes to this post of deputy chief minister, the deputy chief minister would be provided certain important portfolios like portfolios of home affairs, defense, finance, etc. His actual importance basically depends on a lot on the portfolio which is allocated to him. Okay, whether he or she is getting an important portfolio like home affairs, defense, finance or not. When it comes to financial powers, he does not enjoy any specific financial powers and hold the same financial powers which are enjoyed by the cabinet ministers. Even for his own portfolio, he has to take the approval of the chief minister for any expenditure over and above the allocated budget. What sort of financial powers the cabinet ministers have? They carry out the expenditure with regard to their respective ministry. They prepare the demand for grants. That is, this much amount of money will be needing this financial year to, implement the various schemes which are related to their particular ministries. Now, what is the current scenario? Currently, what we are witnessing is 10 other states beside Karnataka currently have deputy CMs. Okay, 4 northeastern states have deputy CMs, and when it comes to Andhra Pradesh, it has 5 deputy CMs, because as I told you, this post is basically given to leaders belonging to different political parties who have come together to form a coalition government. It is a kind of allurement which is given to the other political parties who are coming and joining hands to form a coalition government. Now, if you look at the background, Deputy Prime Minister is the second highest ranking minister of the Union and is a senior member of the Union Council of Ministers, the same that we read with regard to the state executive. His post find no mention in the constitution and has been specifically created to strengthen the coalition government. This is something I have been highlighting since we have started the discussion with regard to this very topic. Now, as I've discussed that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel became the first Deputy Prime Minister of India in 1947 and he was given the portfolio of Home Ministry, which is a very important portfolio, and we discussed that the post of Deputy Prime Minister or the post of Deputy Chief Minister basically depends. Its importance basically depends on what portfolio has been assigned to that particular post. And who decides the portfolio? It is the Prime Minister. When it comes to the Union Executive and when it comes to the state, it is the Chief Minister who decides the portfolio. Again, when it comes to the constitutional provision, Article 74, 75, 78 does not talk about this post of Deputy Prime Minister. There was a controversy with regard to this post which came into picture in KM Sharma versus Devilal and others 1990 case. In this case, the oath was administered to Devilal as Deputy Prime Minister in 1989. And this was challenged on the ground that it was not in accordance with the constitution. As the term deputy prime minister instead of minister, as he used the term deputy prime minister instead of minister, as we studied that this minister thing is there in the Indian constitution, but this post of deputy prime minister is nowhere mentioned in the Indian constitution. So when he was taking the oath, he said he took the oath as deputy prime minister, not as minister. Now the matter went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, however, upheld the Devi Lal's appointment in view of the statement which was made by the Attorney General of India, that Lal was just a minister like other members of the Council of Ministers. We discussed right now with regard to states, though he has been described as Deputy Prime Minister. The description of him as Deputy Prime Minister does not confer on him any powers of the Prime Minister. Okay, so the Prime Minister have different set of powers. He is the leader of the house. He is the leader of the political party. Okay, he decides the portfolio. We discussed that it is on the advice of Prime Minister that the other ministers are appointed by the President. So, Prime Minister has greater set of power, and when it comes to the post of Deputy Prime Minister, he gets the same power which are available to cabinet rank ministers. Okay, this is all that we need to know with regard to this very topic.